Some people loved him and others did not. Sam Houston was a man history speaks well of. Living in Texas, we have all heard of Sam Houston and have influential he was during his lifetime. I will be letting you know about some of his more contradictory choices concerning the Battle of San Jacinto, his stance on slavery and the Texas succession, the public broadcast system, and the Texas Historical Society sites, both of which are online web pages, offered excellent information, which is where I retrieved my data from on June 28, 2013. Here's a picture of Sam Houston after the Battle of San Jacinto. According to the Texas Historical Society's website, Sam Houston was appointed the first Major General of Texas Army in the newly formed Republic of Texas. He met his troops at Gonzales. He ran from the Mexican Army, even when his advisors and fellow Texans wanted him to fight. Many men deserted during his retreat to get their families out of the advancing Mexican Army's way. Finally, he decided to fight when he reached San Jacinto. One bridge allowed access to and from the battlefield. Houston ordered the bridge burned after the Mexican Army crossed, and this made a retreat impossible from either side. Houston was very lucky that he won, because had the battle not gone in his favor, and with retreat impossible, it could have been a massacre for the Texans. Houston's stance on slavery is not as well known as the Battle of San Jacinto. The public broadcast station website states that Sam Houston was a slaveholder himself and an outspoken opponent of abolition. Yet he voted considerably against the expansion of slavery into new territories and was absolutely opposed to the secession of Texas. The Texas Historical Site characterized Houston as a Southern man for the Union, which is quite a contradiction for any man during that time in history. As mentioned earlier, Sam Houston was against the secession of Texas. Houston was the current governor of Texas and against his wishes. The Texas Historical Site states the Texas legislature voted to secede from the Union. He correctly predicted the Civil War would result in a Northern victory and the destruction of the South. Houston refused to take the oath of loyalty to Confederacy and was removed from office. President Lincoln offered him the use of federal troops to stay in office, and he refused to avoid making Texas a scene of violence. Sam Houston was a dynamic and contradictory man. He made questionable judgments concerning events before and during the Battle of San Jacinto. His stance on slavery was contradictory, and his views on secession were definitely different than those of most Southern men. One thing can be said: Sam Houston loved Texas and only wanted what he felt was best for her, no matter what popular opinion was at the time. Thank you.